A woman walks up to a Buffalo Gold machine, drops in $40, and hits a $3,800 jackpot on her seventh spin. Two seats over, a man who's been playing the same exact machine model for 4 hours straight finally stands up, down $600, and walks away with nothing. Same game, same casino, same afternoon. So why did she win while he never stood a chance? Former casino employees are finally breaking their silence about the hidden system that determines who gets paid and who gets ignored. And what they're revealing will completely change everything you thought you knew about slot machines. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how slots pick their winners, why some players walk away with money while others never will, and most importantly, the 5 critical factors that separate the winners from everyone else. Here's my question for you right off the bat. Have you ever sat at a machine for hours, pumping in money with nothing to show for it, then watched someone else sit down and hit big within minutes? Drop your honest answer in the comments. I want to hear your experiences because what you're about to learn explains exactly why that keeps happening. Now let's dive into the truth casinos have been hiding for decades. The random number generator, the computer chip that decides your fate. Every slot machine in every casino runs on something called a random number generator, or RNG. Former slot technicians who've spent years maintaining thousands of machines reveal this is the actual brain of every slot, and it operates in ways most players can't even imagine. Here's what really happens in that split second you press spin. The RNG is a computer chip generating thousands of random number combinations every single second, even when nobody's playing. We're talking 300 to 500 calculations per second, running continuously, never stopping. The instant you press that spin button, the chip freezes on whatever number combination it's currently processing at that exact microsecond. That specific number corresponds to a predetermined reel position, and that's your result, period. Everything you see after that, the spinning reels, the dramatic sounds, the near misses, all of it is just entertainment. The outcome was decided the microsecond you pressed spin. But here's what former employees reveal that changes everything. The RNG doesn't generate just any random numbers. It's programmed with something called weighted probabilities. And this is where the system starts separating winners from losers before you even sit down. Think about it like this. Imagine a deck of cards, but instead of 52 cards, there are 10,000 cards. And out of those 10,000 cards, only 5 are aces. Sure, the shuffle is completely random, but your odds of pulling an ace are terrible no matter how fair the shuffle is. Former technicians explain that slot manufacturers program these machines with specific symbol distributions built into their virtual reel mapping. A machine might have 10,000 possible reel positions programmed into its system, but maybe only 8 of those positions contain the jackpot symbol combination. That means even though each spin is technically random, the mathematical probability of hitting that jackpot is 1 in 10,000. The machine knows this. The casino knows this. The manufacturer knows this. But when you sit down, all you see are 3 reels spinning, and you have no idea what the real odds are. Before we go deeper, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. This information comes from dozens of former casino employees who risk their reputations to reveal the truth. And subscribing helps us reach more players who need to hear this. Why some players are mathematically eliminated before they even play. Alright, back to how slots actually pick winners. Former casino managers reveal there's a concept called return to player percentage, or RTP. And this is where the machine starts deciding who wins and who doesn't, long before anyone sits down to play. Here's how RTP actually works. Every slot machine is programmed to return a specific percentage of all money wagered over its entire lifetime. A machine set at 90% RTP is programmed to pay back $90 for every $100 wagered over hundreds of thousands of spins. But here's the part most players completely misunderstand. That 10% the casino keeps isn't distributed evenly. It's not like the machine takes a little bit from everyone equally. Former employees explain what really happens, and this is critical. The machine might collect $10 each from 100 different players over the course of a week. That's $1,000 total accumulated. Then on Sunday afternoon, one lucky player sits down, hits a bonus, and wins $900. The machine just paid back almost everything it collected all week, but 99 other players lost their money and got nothing. That one person walks away thinking they beat the odds, while 99 others believe they just had bad luck and need to try again. But it wasn't luck. It was pure mathematics. The RNG was always going to generate that winning combination eventually because the machine's programmed to maintain its 90% RTP over millions of spins. The question was never if someone would win. The question is, will it be you sitting there when the RNG lands on that winning microsecond? Former pit bosses say they've watched this exact scenario play out thousands of times. Someone will sit at a machine for 6 hours, lose $800, finally give up and walk away. 5 minutes later, another player sits down at that same machine and hits a $1,200 jackpot within 10 spins. The first player fed the machine. They built up the statistical debt the machine owed. The second player just happened to press spin at the exact microsecond when the RNG generated the winning number. Nothing more than timing. Here's a real case former employees documented. A man named Bradley played the same Lightning Link machine at the same casino every Tuesday and Thursday for 9 months straight. According to transaction records, he'd lost approximately $19,500 during that time. One Thursday afternoon, he was sitting at his usual machine when another player walked up and asked politely if they could take over when he was done. Bradley, being a nice guy, cashed out his last $45 and gave up the seat. The next player put in $100 and triggered a hold and spin that paid $7,400 on their 14th spin. Bradley stood there and watched it happen. He watched someone win $7,400 on the machine where he dumped nearly 20 grand over 9 months. Former employees who witnessed this say Bradley walked out of the casino and never came back. He'd been feeding that machine for 9 months, statistically building toward a major payout cycle, and someone else caught the wave at exactly the right microsecond. Was Bradley unlucky? Not really. The machine was always programmed to hit that bonus eventually. Bradley just didn't stay long enough, or more accurately, he didn't happen to press spin at the exact millisecond the RNG landed on the winning combination. That's how slots pick winners. It's not about who deserves it. It's not about who's played the longest or lost the most. It's about who presses spin at the exact right microsecond when the RNG generates a winning number. So here's my question. Have you ever walked away from a machine only to watch someone else hit big minutes or hours later? Tell me your story in the comments. I want to see how common this really is because it happens more than you think. The volatility factor. Why your bankroll determines if you'll ever win. Now let's talk about something former casino employees say 95% of players completely misunderstand. Volatility. This is the hidden factor that determines whether you'll ever catch a big win or just slowly bleed money until you're broke. And most players have no idea it even exists. Former game designers explain that every slot machine is programmed with a specific volatility level, and this determines the frequency and size of payouts. Low volatility machines pay frequently, but in small amounts. High volatility machines rarely pay, but when they do, the wins can be massive. And here's the critical part former employees emphasize. Your personality, your playing style, and especially your bankroll need to match the machine's volatility, or you're mathematically eliminated before you start. Let's break this down with a real example. You walk into a casino with $200. You sit at a high volatility machine like Mega Moolah or Buffalo Gold. These games are programmed to go hundreds of spins between significant payouts. Former technicians reveal that on a high volatility machine, you might need a bankroll of $800, $1,000, even $1,500 to statistically survive long enough to catch one of the big payouts the machine is programmed to deliver. But you've only got $200. So what happens? You play for maybe 25 minutes, the machine eats your money with almost no wins, and you walk away thinking, the game's rigged or the casino's cheating. It's not rigged. You just picked a machine designed for a bankroll 5 times larger than what you brought. The machine was always going to require 350 or 400 spins before hitting a significant bonus, but you only had budget for 75 spins at your bet level. Former casino managers describe this as the single biggest mismatch they see every day on the floor. Players with small bankrolls sit at high volatility machines built for whales, then wonder why they never win anything. Meanwhile, high rollers sometimes sit at low volatility machines, expecting massive jackpots, and get frustrated with constant small wins that bore them. Here's a documented case that illustrates this perfectly. A woman named Angela had a strict gambling budget of $100 per week. Every Friday after work, she'd visit her local casino and play Dragon Link at $1.50 per spin. Dragon Link is a high volatility game. Her $100 lasted maybe 65 spins, about 40 minutes of play. Over 6 months, Angela played 24 sessions and lost $2,400 total. In all that time, she triggered the hold and spin bonus maybe 5 times, and her biggest win was $92. She walked away every single week feeling defeated and convinced the machines were against her. A former floor supervisor who'd been watching Angela for months finally approached her during a break and gently suggested she try a different type of game. He recommended quick hits or triple red hot 777, low volatility games programmed to deliver smaller wins more frequently. Angela was skeptical but decided to try it. The next Friday, she played Quick Hits Platinum at 40 cents per spin. Her $100 lasted nearly 4 hours. She triggered bonuses regularly, had multiple 25x and 40x wins, and walked away with $155. Not a life-changing amount, but she actually left with more money than she started with for the first time in 6 months. Former employees explain this happened because Angela's bankroll finally matched the machine's volatility profile. Quick Hits is programmed to hit frequently with small to medium payouts. Angela's $100 budget could sustain enough spins to catch multiple payout cycles. Dragon Link needed her to survive 250 or 300 spins to catch the hold and spin when it actually fills up with premium symbols, but she never had the bankroll to reach that point. She was mathematically eliminated before she started every single week. This is how slots pick winners based on volatility matching. If your bankroll matches the machine's volatility profile, you have a realistic shot at catching the payouts it's programmed to deliver. If there's a mismatch, you're almost guaranteed to lose every time. Now, what about you? Do you chase huge jackpots with small bankrolls? Or do you play low volatility games for consistent entertainment? Be honest in the comments. There's no wrong answer, but knowing which type of player you are is the first step to playing smarter. Bet size requirements, the hidden eligibility rules that lock you out. Here's where slots really separate winners from everyone else in ways most players never realize exist. Former casino employees reveal that many machines have hidden eligibility requirements based on bet size, and if you don't meet them, you're completely locked out of the best payouts, even if you trigger the winning combination. Progressive jackpots are the most obvious example. Former technicians explain that if a machine displays a progressive jackpot on the screen, you almost always need to bet maximum coins to be eligible to win it. That means if a machine requires a $2.50 max bet and you're betting $1, you can land the exact jackpot symbol combination and you'll get nothing. Zero. The machine will pay some consolation prize, maybe 500 times your bet instead of the $75,000 progressive, but you missed the real prize because you weren't betting enough to qualify. Former pit bosses say they've witnessed this crushing scenario play out dozens of times. A player hits the winning combination, excitement explodes, lights flash. Then they look at the screen and realize they didn't bet max. The look on their face is absolute devastation. But here's what's even worse, and this is something most players have no clue about. Former game designers reveal that some machines are programmed with tiered RTP based on bet size. The same exact game might have an 87% RTP if you're betting minimum, but a 94% RTP if you're betting maximum. That means betting minimum doesn't just lock you out of progressives, it actually changes the fundamental mathematical odds of the entire game. Let me share a real story former employees told me. A regular named Victor played Wheel of Fortune every weekend for over a year. He loved that machine, knew every sound, every animation. He always bet $1.25 per spin because that's what fit comfortably within his budget. Over that year, Victor lost approximately $11,000 on that machine. One day, a former slot technician who'd become friendly with Victor pulled him aside during a bathroom break and explained something Victor never knew. Wheel of Fortune requires max bet to unlock the full pay table with the best RTP. At $1.25, Victor was playing a reduced odds version of the game. The technician suggested Victor either bump up to max bet or find a different machine where minimum bets don't reduce the RTP. Victor was furious. He'd been playing for over a year, lost 11 grand, and nobody ever told him he was locked into worse odds by not betting max. He felt deceived and cheated. Technically, the information was disclosed in the pay table, buried in fine print Victor never read. The casino and manufacturer did nothing illegal, but former employees admit it feels like a trap because most players have no idea this system exists on certain games. Here's what former technicians emphasize. Not every machine works this way. Some games give identical RTP regardless of bet size. You're just betting less per spin, so your potential wins are proportionally smaller. But many popular games, especially branded slots with licensed themes and progressive jackpots, have these hidden bet thresholds that literally change your mathematical odds. So here's your challenge. Next time you're in a casino, before you play any machine, check the pay table. Look for any language about max bet requirements or different payouts based on bet levels. If you see anything suggesting your bet size affects more than just win amounts, you need to decide right then. Can you afford to bet max for the full RTP? If not, find a different game where minimum bets don't mathematically penalize you. Have you ever hit a winning combination but missed out on the real payout because you weren't betting max? If that's happened to you, share it in the comments. Let's see how many people have been burned by this hidden system. Machine placement. How location decides who gets paid. Former casino managers reveal that where a machine sits on the casino floor has everything to do with who wins and how often. And machine placement isn't random. It's calculated strategy. Understanding this system can help you identify which machines are programmed to pay better. Here's how it works. Casinos place tighter machines, those with lower RTP settings, in high-traffic areas where massive numbers of people walk by constantly. Think machines right by the entrance, next to the buffet, along main walkways, near the casino cage, by the elevators. These machines get tons of action from casual players who sit for just a few minutes, so casinos can program them tighter without anyone noticing. Former employees explain that these high-traffic machines often have RTPs in the 85 to 88% range. That's significantly lower than machines in strategic spots elsewhere on the floor. The casino knows people will play them anyway because they're convenient, visible, and the sounds and lights serve as advertising. When someone wins on a machine by the entrance, everyone walking past sees it and thinks, maybe I should try. But here's the insider secret. Former pit bosses reveal that some of the better-paying machines are intentionally placed in less obvious locations. Back corners away from main traffic, quieter sections away from table games, areas that require you to walk deeper into the casino. Why? Because casinos want to reward players who make the effort to explore. These players are more serious, more likely to become regulars, so casinos program machines in these spots with slightly better RTPs to keep them happy and coming back. There's also specific strategy around high-limit areas. Former employees note that machines positioned just outside high-limit rooms, not inside but nearby, sometimes have better RTPs than penny slots on the main floor. Casinos place better-paying machines there to entice high-limit players to try them, and to create visible winners that high rollers can see walking by. It's social proof. If a whale sees someone winning $900 nearby, they think these machines are paying and they're more likely to play. One case former managers documented involved a bank of 8 Buffalo machines positioned in a back corner near the restrooms. Over a 120-day period, those 8 machines paid out significantly more winners than a bank of 12 identical Buffalo machines near the front entrance. The back corner machines were programmed with RTP settings just 2.5% higher, but over hundreds of thousands of spins, that tiny difference created noticeably more winners. The casino was fine with this because players who found those machines felt like they'd discovered a secret spot, and they became fiercely loyal to that casino. Former employees also describe something called showcase machines. These are machines in highly visible spots, programmed to trigger bonuses very frequently, even though the bonus amounts are usually small. The constant flashing lights and sounds draw attention. People see action and think that machine's hot. In reality, it might be hitting bonuses often, but paying less overall because each bonus only pays 15x or 20x instead of 100x or 200x. It's psychological manipulation to make the casino look generous, when, mathematically, those showcase machines might be taking more than they're giving. So here's my question. Do you have a favorite spot in your local casino where you feel like machines pay better? Drop the location in the comments. Let's see if there are patterns other players have noticed. Player behavior. Why discipline beats luck every time. Now let's talk about the human element. Former casino employees reveal that while the RNG determines outcomes, player behavior determines who actually walks away with money versus who loses everything despite hitting wins. Former pit bosses explain there are 3 types of players they observe constantly: the grinder, the chaser, and the smart player. Each type has completely different outcomes even though they're all playing the exact same machines. The grinder sits at one machine for hours, betting consistently, never moving. They're convinced that if they just keep spinning, eventually the machine has to pay. Former employees note that grinders almost always lose because they don't understand machine cycles. A machine might need 550 spins to hit a significant bonus. The grinder has bankroll for 380 spins. They leave broke just before the big payout arrives, and the next player catches it. The chaser jumps from machine to machine, constantly looking for something hot. They play 15 spins here, 25 spins there, always moving. Former employees say chasers usually lose because they never stay anywhere long enough to catch a full payout cycle. They're spending money across multiple machines, feeding the house edge over and over, without giving any single game enough spins to deliver a programmed payout. Then there's the smart player. Former managers describe this person as disciplined and strategic. They scout machines by watching for a few minutes before committing money. They set strict win and loss limits before starting. They know exactly when to leave. And most importantly, they understand slots are programmed mathematical systems, not magic or luck. Here's a real example. A player named Joyce visited a casino every Saturday night with exactly $250. She'd spend 15 to 20 minutes walking the entire floor observing different machines. She wasn't looking for jackpots. She was looking for games showing recent bonus activity, which indicated the machine was in an active payout phase. Once Joyce found a machine she liked, she played with iron discipline. She'd bet $1.25 per spin, giving herself 200 potential spins. If she doubled her money to $500, she'd immediately cash out $250, pocket it, and continue playing only with the $250 profit. If she lost her $250 without hitting a decent win, she'd leave. No chasing, no emotion, no second guessing. Former employees who observed Joyce over 18 months noted something remarkable. She didn't win every week, but she walked away with profit approximately 42% of the time. That's dramatically higher than average players. Why? Because Joyce understood she was playing a programmed mathematical system. She gave machines enough spins to complete their payout cycles. She protected profits when she won. She cut losses quickly when things weren't working. She played smart, not emotional. The difference between Joyce and most players is pure discipline. Former casino managers emphasize that the RNG doesn't care about your discipline, but discipline determines whether you're still sitting there with money when the RNG finally generates the winning combination, or whether you already went broke and left. So which type are you? The grinder, the chaser, or the smart player? Be completely honest in the comments. And if you're not the smart player yet, what's stopping you from adopting these simple habits? The biggest myth: hot and cold machines. This is the biggest misconception former casino employees desperately want to destroy. There is no such thing as a hot or cold machine. Every single spin is completely independent. The RNG generates a random result every time, regardless of what happened on the previous spin, the previous 100 spins, or the previous 10,000 spins. Former technicians explain the machine has absolutely no memory. It doesn't know if it just paid $15,000 5 minutes ago or if it hasn't paid anything meaningful in 12 hours. The programming is designed to hit specific RTP targets over millions of spins. But on any individual spin, the odds are exactly identical to every other spin. But here's why players believe in hot and cold. Former behavioral psychologists who've consulted with casinos explain it's faulty pattern recognition. Human brains evolved to recognize patterns for survival. You see 3 bonuses in 40 minutes, and your brain labels that machine hot. You go 180 spins without a decent win, brain labels it cold. But statistically, both scenarios are just normal variance within a truly random system. They mean absolutely nothing about future spins. Former employees share that one of the most frustrating things they witness is players abandoning machines right before major hits. Someone plays for 90 minutes, loses $350, declares the machine dead cold, and walks away angry. The very next player sits down and hits a $1,100 bonus within 8 spins. The first player sees this and feels personally victimized, like the machine was holding out and decided to pay the next person instead. But that's not what happened. The RNG was going to generate that specific winning combination at that exact microsecond, regardless of who was sitting there. The first player just wasn't pressing spin at that particular moment. It wasn't personal. It wasn't the machine being cold, then suddenly turning hot. It was pure mathematical probability, playing out with zero bias or memory. Former managers reveal casinos actually benefit massively from the hot and cold myth because it keeps players moving around the floor, feeding different machines. If everyone understood that every machine is mathematically neutral and every spin is independent, players might leave much sooner when losing. But because players believe a machine can turn hot any second, they keep playing, hoping to catch the shift from cold to hot. That hope keeps money flowing. Here's my question. Do you still believe in hot and cold machines? Or do you understand it's completely random? And if you know it's random, does that actually change how you play? Let me know in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious how many players understand the truth versus how many still chase the myth. What actually separates winners from everyone else? So, after everything we've covered, let's bring this all together. How do slots really pick winners and ignore everyone else? Former casino employees reveal it comes down to 5 critical factors working together. First, timing. You must press spin at the exact microsecond when the RNG generates a winning number. That's pure chance. You can't control it, but you can maximize opportunities by playing enough spins to give yourself more chances to land on a winning microsecond. Second, bankroll matching. If your bankroll doesn't match the machine's volatility profile, you're eliminated before you start. High volatility machines require large bankrolls to survive long enough to catch the big wins they're programmed to deliver. Low volatility machines work with smaller bankrolls because they pay more frequently. Third, bet size eligibility. Some machines completely lock you out of the best payouts if you're not betting max or meeting certain thresholds. If you can't afford those requirements, you must play different machines where minimum bets don't penalize your odds. Fourth, machine location. Tighter machines in high traffic areas versus better paying machines in strategic locations. Where you play matters, because RTP settings vary significantly by placement. Fifth, discipline. The smartest players protect profits, cut losses quickly, and never make emotional decisions. Discipline doesn't change the RNG, but it determines whether you still have money to play with when the RNG finally lands on a winning combination. The brutal truth former employees want every player to understand is this. Most people never win big not because they're unlucky, but because they violate multiple factors on this list simultaneously. They play high volatility machines with tiny bankrolls. They don't bet enough to fully qualify for top payouts. They sit at tight machines in terrible locations. They have zero discipline, playing until completely broke regardless of whether they're winning or losing along the way. The players who consistently walk away with money are those who align all 5 factors. They play machines matching their bankroll. They bet appropriately for the game's requirements. They scout for better locations. They play enough spins to give the RNG chances to hit. And they have the discipline to leave when ahead. That's the real secret slots don't advertise. They don't pick winners based on luck, karma, loyalty, or how long you've been playing. They pick winners based on cold mathematics, programming, and whether you're giving yourself the absolute best possible chance within a system specifically designed to take money from most players. Now here's what I want you to do. Before your next casino visit, take 10 minutes to honestly evaluate your habits against these 5 factors. Be brutally honest. Where are you making mistakes? What can you immediately adjust? Because the casino will never tell you this. They profit when you don't know. Final question. Which of these 5 factors is your biggest weakness? Drop your answer in the comments. No judgment here. We're all trying to play smarter, and admitting your weak spot is the first step to actually fixing it. If this video helped you understand how slots really pick winners, smash that like button. If you want more insider secrets casinos don't want you knowing, subscribe and hit notifications. And share this with anyone you know who plays slots regularly. The more people who understand the real system, the more people who can play with eyes wide open instead of blindly hoping for luck that doesn't exist. Remember, slots are programmed mathematical systems. The house always has the edge, always. But understanding exactly how the system works gives you the best possible chance to be sitting there when the RNG finally lands in your favor. Play smart, stay disciplined, and I'll see you at the casino.